the March 33 election and the Enabling Act that followed. As mentioned in previous podcasts, the March 33 election was massively won by one party, although the collective who didn't want Hitler was bigger than those who did. No majority, therefore, with just 44% of the seats, Hitler has to decide how he's going to try and become the dictator he becomes, because democratically, this won't allow him to. He'll have to use another party, potentially those, to work with him to be able to pass laws. However, we know that Article 48 allowed the president to have emergency powers that Hitler could use. So Hitler bans, using those laws, he bans the communists from taking their seats. That takes 81 out of it. He manages to win over the Centre Party there by promising to protect the Catholic Church in Germany. And the nationalists here as well were also prepared to support him. So when the elected people turned up in an opera house, because obviously the Reichstag was destroyed, there were heavily armed SA men on the doors, in the corridors, behind some curtains, all over the place where you might not expect them to make sure that people voted in the way Hitler wanted them to vote. In this Reichstag meeting, the members passed something called the Enabling Act. And as its name suggests, it's going to enable Hitler to have more powers. Basically, it gave Hitler the power to make his own laws without any consultation with the Reichstag, which is the Parliament building, and just pass them and make them become law. Now, even these parties who were willing to support Hitler might think this is going way too far. Yet, in the vote that followed, bearing in mind there were no communists there to vote, the numbers were as follows: 444 MPs in favour, and only 94, all of those Social Democrats or left-wingers, against. The Reichstag people had now voted to let Hitler and the Nazis do what they wanted to. They had supreme power, more than the president, more than Hindenburg did. Germany had ceased to become a democracy. And this British cartoon from the Times sums it up quite well. This was the polling stations and taking the mick, I suppose, out of how Hitler was coming into power. Technically, he did it democratically. He won an election. He then got the Parliament, the Reichstag, to agree to his law. But the intimidation, you can see on their faces, looking either way, was there. The machine gun, the barbed wire, okay, slightly exaggerated. But the point is, yes, he got there democratically, but it wasn't as democratic as it should have been. And now, Germany is never, ever democratic again. They become a dictatorship under Hitler.